Okay, finally we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects. I hope the way I wrote the safety rules makes a strong impression that I feel very strongly about not stretching. And if you feel strongly about stretching, just hear me out and at least obey rule number 14 that says if you insist on stretching, make sure you warm up first and do it after you practice, not before. And I'll explain all that in this little visit that we're about to have. We're talking about safety rules number 1, 2, 3, and 14, which all have to do with stretching. When I say, now there's other kinds of stretching for back or neck and all that, that's different. I'm talking about those weird, contortions that they tell you to do with your hands. Let's not do that. I'm going to tell you a short story, give you some context, and then tell you how I came to feel strongly about not stretching. So the thing is, when you have a poor technique, you can actually get away with playing for 15 years or 20 years or so. Of course, as you age, you can get away with less and less, and the more you've played with a bad technique, the closer you are to that injury. And when I was studying classical guitar, no one challenged me about my technique or my bad habits, and I wish they would have, because I ended up hurting myself really bad, and I had surgery. I did regain some of my ability to play, but I was limited, and I played that way for 20 years until it got to the point. Well, let me back up. About the same time I had surgery, a massage therapist had suggested some stretching exercises. So I did those faithfully. I just kind of took it at face value, did them faithfully, never questioned it for 20 years. For 20 years, I was able to play with limited abilities, and towards the end of that 20 years, it was getting to where it was looking like I was going to lose my ability to play guitar. And that's when I started to play harp, and that's when I learned some things that helped me to play guitar in a more healthy way. One thing that happened about that same time was it was suggested to me that I do not stretch before playing, only after. And I was told that athletes no longer stretch before their workout, they stretch after. So, and I know that now they do again, but we'll get to that. So I did some research at that time. That was about 7 to 10 years ago. And sure enough, 7 to 10 years ago, the articles were saying that pro athletes, Olympic athletes, military trainers, they were not having their athletes stretch before a workout. Research had shown that when you stretch a muscle, that muscle is more prone to injury during the next 30 minutes. So everyone had changed. And now, recently I did some research, and it looks like a lot of them have kind of changed back again to a certain extent. A lot of them are stretching in specific ways before the workout, but it depends on who it is, what they're doing, and that sort of thing. So it has been kind of controversial, but I will say all of that, that kind of stretching is much different than playing guitar or playing an instrument. We're using small muscles, and we're not playing a game where we have sudden impact and limbs and things are stretched backwards, and we're just playing guitar. And my personal opinion is that we're just better off not stretching. However, there is one little caveat we'll get to towards the end of the lesson, which is actually pretty exciting. Here, this is really important. But through the controversy of to stretch or not to stretch, do you stretch before, do you only stretch after? One thing they all agree on is never stretch a cold muscle. So if they're stretching, they do some kind of warm up first to get the body warm, the heart beating faster, and then they'll do their stretches. But everyone agrees, never stretch a cold muscle. We'll come back to that. That's why rule 14, if you insist on stretching, you got to warm your body up first. What that does is it gets the blood flowing, it gets more oxygen to your extremities, and oxygen is, you know, keeping you healthy and reducing inflammation and reducing injuries, that sort of thing. We have 33 muscles in one hand, 33 muscles in the other hand. All the bones are, is that muscles or bones? I think that's muscles. Similar number of bones, or that might be the bones. I'm sorry. But all those bones are connected to muscles and ligaments and tendons. Some of the muscles are up in here that make our hands work and do these delicate things. So it's very easy to injure one of them because there's a lot of them. And we do such specific things, and we do them over and over and over and over again. And we tend to hold a lot of tension there. And we don't really have authorities in the world of playing guitar, authorities on what stretches do you do or not do, or do you stretch before or after, or even technique. It's hard to find a good authority. So if you know one, share it with me. I'm looking, and I might have found something helpful, but I still have to study it more, and that'll be in the book for sure, or maybe in a future video. So here's the deal. You definitely want to stretch, you definitely want to warm up before you play the guitar. That could be just a short jog, or even a short walk, or up and down the stairs a few times. Anything that you know is safe for you to get the blood flowing and get the oxygen circulating in your hands. This is one thing, by the way, I have double checked with a couple of physical therapists. One of them is a hand specialist, and they say, oh yeah, you got to warm up, and that's gonna make everything more flexible, and you have the oxygen there to help you prevent injury. So here's the thing. I really don't think anyone who is qualified to do so has designed stretching exercises that are good for us as guitarists. However, whenever you play a new shape on the guitar, think about it. You're trying to reach something that you can't reach yet. You are trying to make a shape you haven't made before. Maybe your fingers don't quite reach. Just make the shape and reach as far as you can. And when you're trying to do something new, you actually are stretching, right? And you're stretching in a way that is specific to exactly what you need to accomplish. You're not doing something loopy like bending your fingers over backwards. And if you're warming up before you practice, then you just remember when I said never stretch a cold muscle. So if you're practicing and you're trying to do something new, you are stretching a cold muscle. And so if you warm up before you practice, then you're not stretching a cold muscle. And what I'm saying is the warm up before practice, that's something that I added when things turned around for me, is warming up before practice. If you warm up before practice, then when you do try to reach farther, you will be gradually, you will gain flexibility and you will be able to reach farther. You won't be you won't be so likely to injure yourself. If you push too hard, you can still injure yourself, but you will be less likely to injure yourself. You will gain more flexibility, all because you're warming up a little bit before you practice. I think that's all I have to say about not stretching for now. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments on my if you would like to see the safety rules for playing guitar, they're on my free instruction page. And you can get my free instruction page by signing up for my mailing list. You can sign up for my mailing list by looking at the link underneath this video and clicking on it. You can sign up for my mailing list there. You can also email me there. I will also put a link in the description under this video to another playlist. I previously made a playlist about how to play without pain and injury. It's just, there are some helpful things there about relaxing and stuff like that. It's just not thorough enough. We have more work to do on, I have more work to do on writing this whole book and sharing more with you about playing without hurting ourselves. And I will see you again next time. Bye.